Hey friend, in this video I am going to show you how to set up a Reaper project for songwriting. So if you've been paying attention to the podcast, this is going to very much play off of this week's episode. But if not, this should still be helpful to you. If you don't know what Reaper is, it is basically a DAW that you can use for free for an infinite amount of time, actually, which is very, very generous of them. I did purchase it. It's about $60 if you purchase it because I used it for free with no limitations for 10 years, and I realized, man, I really owe them. They've allowed me to record a ton of songs. They don't hold back any features. So if you do want to get started with recording music, this is a great place to start. So if you do want to get into it, first thing to do, go to reaper.fm, go to download Reaper, and then you can download it for whatever machine you have. They have one for Linux and Mac as well as Windows if you're a PC person like myself. So that's your first step. Just go download Reaper. Again, totally free. They really don't hold anything back. The only thing you get if you haven't purchased it is it like makes you wait 5 seconds at the beginning when you open it, and then you say, yes, I'm sure I don't want to buy a Reaper license or something like that, which I was able to basically ignore for way too long. So it really is fully free to use. It's a great way to get started. Be sure though, don't wait as long as I did. If you are getting value out of it 3 months in or 6 months in, be sure to just pay the minimal $60 to buy it, to buy the license. But the second thing you want to do for specifically setting up your Reaper project for songwriting is to at least get a basic template written up of what your arrangements you think will look like. Now, if you've done arrangements before, this might be easier for you. If you haven't, maybe listen to some of your favorite tracks, try to pick out some of the different instruments. If not, though, start with a bare bones version of this, right? Let it grow over time. The main goal of this is when you start to write your song, hopefully you're writing your song directly into your DAW, digital audio workstation, in this case Reaper. And while you're doing that, we don't want to waste any time with like, oh, what instrument should I do next? Or what else do I need here? The goal is to basically have this template up so that you right away are like, okay, these are the different things that I need as a bare bones, like what I need to do in order to get my song to where I want it to go. So for me, that looks more or less like this. I separate things into sort of these three main categories: vocals, which is almost always saved for last. Then I have band and orchestra. So for me, band is like if you have a rock band or if you have a band playing your song, these are the quote-unquote band instruments, right? So your piano, your guitars, your bass, and your drums, right? Because if you think of a band, those are the instruments that are being played. There's not usually a organ player in a band, or a choir in a band, or an orchestra or string quartet, etc. Orchestra, I see as very much the thing backing up the band. So at least how I visualize it, right? There's a band on stage, and maybe they did pay to have like an orchestra and all that. Maybe it's a big show they're doing for, a recording. It used to be like a DVD, right? It's probably not a DVD anymore. But that's at least how I visualize it, right? The orchestra doesn't take over the song. It's meant to supplement the song and add strings to it and some brass and maybe a choir. And then from there, I break orchestra down into sort of organic orchestra, which is more traditional, like actual orchestra, and then what I call digital orchestra, which are things like bells and arpeggiators and pads, basically all different synth sounds. Now, I use synths for this organic orchestra. I'm not actually recording stringed instruments, but the idea is sonically, the organic orchestra gives it sort of that more classic, more acoustic, real instrument, quote-unquote, sound that I really like. And the digital orchestra sort of modernizes it. So this is just something that fits my sound. Like you'll also notice electric guitars. I have a ton. I love layers of electric guitars to make this huge electric guitar sound. That's something I really like. And I have piano at the top because piano is sort of my main go-to and overall favorite instrument. So yours is going to look different than this. And that's okay. But I'm going to show you how to make this sort of once. And then as long as you're sticking with whatever your version of the recording arrangement template, if you will, you can just utilize it over and over and over again inside of Reaper, how to make it so that it looks nice and is easy to use. So this is sort of the basic idea of what mine looks like off of what we were just looking at. As you can see here over on the side, I have band, right, with the piano, and then the guitars all together, and then bass, drums, and then I have the orchestra with both the organic orchestra and the digital orchestra. So I'm going to show you how to basically make this. We'll make a more bare bones version of this because it would take some time to build up all these, and yours might not quite look like this. The idea, though, is we like the different colors and stuff. It makes it easy to recognize exactly where everything is. Like I know for me, organic orchestra is all the orange stuff. And I organize my quote-unquote band main instruments here at the top. I also can sort of control the volume separately, so I can just increase the volume of the entire digital orchestra at the same time. It's very, very nice when recording and arranging. So let's dive into making this, shall we? So in Reaper, it's just Control-T to add a new track. You can right-click, insert new track. But create your top level first. So in my case, I do the band and then orchestra. So from there, try to choose a color. How do you color these tracks? They all start gray. What you can do is you can right-click on them, go to track color, and then set tracks to custom color. That will bring up this dialog box, and you can choose your colors. And tip here, this is more steps than you want to do normally. So what you can actually do is save your colors into this sort of quick access menu with these custom colors, which is what I have done. So for example, for band, we'll make it black, and then we'll make it white for the orchestra. So I was able to do that because you can actually control what shows up on this menu, these custom colors. If you go back into this menu, basically select one of these custom colors down here. So for example, we'll take this last black one, and let's say we want to make it pink. So in that case, make sure you click on the custom color first, then pick on the basic color you want to set it to, and then do add to custom colors. And then as you can see, it adds that color to this custom colors grouping, which then from there means that you can then go track color, and then you have your custom color 16 right there, which makes it a little faster. So from there, right, create your sort of sub tracks. So maybe let's say you're an acoustic guitarist, so you do guitars. Maybe you don't have much piano, so we'll just do guitars, bass, and drums as your band. So select all of these. So I clicked on the top one, and then shift click to select all of them. Drag it so that you see the blue line. See how the blue line is a little shorter? That means that it's underneath band. So you can do that. And then from there, choose what your colors are. The colors that I chose for the template project actually mirror, because for me the sort of main number one instrument is piano, number two is guitars, then bass, then drums. That's just how I see things, right? If rhythm's really important to you, you might think of drums as higher than bass. You know, doesn't really matter. But I actually colored these according to, like, at least Nintendo used to always, player 1 was blue, player 2 was red, player 3 was green, and player 4 was yellow. So that was an easy sort of color scheme for me to pick when I knew that there was going to be exactly 4 groupings. You can do whatever you want. Let's make guitars purple, bass. Let's make it yellow, and drums. We will make it red. So from here, this also, when you record tracks, will mean that the actual tracks that show up here will also be these colors. It will make it so much easier with your recording process. And the beauty, too, is you can save this as a template so that you can open your tracks and already have it set. Like, here are all your instruments. You can even have the levels set. You can have the effects you want to use, so like amplitude for guitar, right? So you can have that set so that you already are ready with the guitars, which I know this is only one track, so it should be called guitar. You can already be all set with amplitude so that you can record your, I guess, electric guitar in this case. And then all you have to do is save project as, and then go to wherever you would like to sort of save this. Call it probably template project. I'll call it 2 example because this is not what I actually want to use. And then save that. You can save it just as a regular Reaper project file. And then what you can do, you can create a new project tab. Now you can do File, Open Project, and go to this template you created. And then if you right click on it, you can say Open Project as Template in Reaper. So this will open that project just as a template though. So right now if I save, it's not going to overwrite the template, right? Because that's, if you just opened it, that's what's going to happen. This will force you to rename it. If I save, it will force me to actually save it as a different project. So that's a quick way to really set up yourself so that whenever you're starting a new song or arranging a new song, recording a new song, or hopefully songwriting, right away you can just, open new project tab. We'll use mine for an example. So go to Open Project, and then I'll use my template project, open as project in Reaper, and then boom, as soon as it finishes loading, which might take a hot sec because mine actually does have, as you can see, it's loaded Superior Drummer and Omnisphere. It is loading a bunch of VSTs that I already have in it, so it's going to take a little bit longer to load when you have all those VSTs in there. But boom, now I have it, right? I can say, okay, I'm going to start recording this song with maybe acoustic guitar, so I can hit record and start recording. Hopefully this was helpful to you. If it was, be sure to drop a like. If you do want more help in getting started with songwriting, be sure to pick up my free guide. It's at songwritertheory.com/free guide. It teaches 10 different ways to start writing a song, 5 from a lyrical standpoint and 5 from a musical standpoint. It will help you get out of your creative rut if you are in one. It will help you if you're a beginner songwriter just trying to figure out what the heck do I do? How do I start? I'm staring at a blank page. And it will help those of us that are trying to escape our creative boxes and we don't want to start writing songs that all sound the same. And if we start writing our song the same way every single time, sometimes that will happen. So for example, if I always started with piano here, that might be a danger that might happen. So it's good to change up what you start with. If you're interested in that, be sure to pick it up, songwritertheory.com/free guide. I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll talk to you in the next one.